The yearning to connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans predates even the discovery of America. Ancient civilizations dreamt of finding a shortcut, a passage that would link the world's greatest oceans. For centuries, explorers searched for a natural waterway, a mythical strait that would unlock the riches of the Orient. But the Americas held their secrets close, and the dream of a canal remained elusive. With the discovery of the Americas and the rise of global trade, the need for a shorter route became ever more pressing. Ships laden with spices, silks, and treasures from the East Indies had to brave the treacherous journey around the southern tip of South America. This arduous voyage, fraught with peril and uncertainty, fueled the desire for a passage through the narrow isthmus of Panama. The dream, once whispered in royal courts and charted on ancient maps, was now a matter of economic and strategic urgency. The Spanish conquistadors, driven by gold and glory, were among the first to seriously consider a canal. They envisioned a waterway that would cement their dominance over the New World and facilitate the transport of their plundered riches back to Spain. Surveys were conducted and plans were drawn up, but the sheer scale of the undertaking, coupled with the technological limitations of the time, proved insurmountable. The dream, though tantalizingly close, seemed destined to remain unfulfilled. Yet the idea of a Panama Canal refused to die. It was kept alive by dreamers and visionaries, by map-makers and merchants, by those who understood that such a feat of engineering would reshape the world. The potential rewards were simply too great to ignore. The Panama Canal, once a mere whisper on the wind, was about to become a roar that would capture the imagination of the world. For centuries, the only maritime route between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans lay thousands of miles south of Panama. Ships laden with goods and dreams had to navigate the treacherous waters around Cape Horn, a jagged promontory at the southern tip of South America. It was a voyage that tested the limits of human endurance and the resilience of even the sturdiest vessels. The seas around Cape Horn were known for their fury. Gale-force winds, towering waves, and unpredictable currents conspired to make this passage one of the most dangerous in the world. Ships were often battered by relentless storms, their masts snapped like twigs, their hulls breached by the unrelenting onslaught of the waves. Many a vessel, once filled with the promise of riches and adventure, met its end in these unforgiving waters, its wreckage swallowed by the frigid depths. The journey around Cape Horn was not only perilous but also incredibly time-consuming. Ships could be delayed for weeks, even months, by adverse weather conditions. The long voyage also took a toll on crews who faced constant exposure to the elements, dwindling supplies, and the ever-present threat of disease. Scurvy, a debilitating condition caused by vitamin C deficiency, was a constant companion on these long voyages, claiming the lives of countless sailors. The perils of Cape Horn served as a stark reminder of the need for a shorter, safer route between the Atlantic and Pacific. The dream of a canal through Panama was no longer just a matter of convenience or economic expediency, it was a matter of life and death. The world needed a passage that would spare sailors from the horrors of Cape Horn and usher in a new era of global trade and interconnectedness. The dream of a Panama Canal was not merely a matter of digging a ditch through the jungle. It was a monumental challenge, an audacious proposition that demanded innovative engineering, unwavering determination, and a willingness to confront the unknown. It was a task that would capture the imaginations of visionaries and test the limits of human ingenuity. One such visionary was Ferdinand de Lesseps, a French diplomat and engineer who had achieved international acclaim for his role in constructing the Suez Canal. Emboldened by his success in linking the Mediterranean and Red Seas, de Lesseps turned his attention to the challenge of Panama. He envisioned a sea-level canal, a grand waterway that would allow ships to pass through the isthmus without the need for locks. De Lesseps' vision, though inspiring, proved to be tragically flawed. The dense jungles, rugged terrain, and unforgiving climate of Panama presented formidable obstacles. The engineers underestimated the complexity of the geological formations, and the project was plagued by landslides and flooding. Moreover, tropical diseases such as malaria and yellow fever decimated the workforce, turning the construction site into a graveyard. Despite these setbacks, de Lesseps remained undeterred, his belief in the project unwavering. He poured vast sums of money into the endeavor, but the challenges proved insurmountable. The French effort, though marked by moments of brilliance and innovation, ultimately ended in failure, leaving behind a trail of financial ruin and broken dreams. Yet, the lessons learned from this costly endeavor would prove invaluable to the Americans who would later take up the mantle. Section 4, the French Endeavor, Triumph and Tragedy. The French attempt to construct a Panama Canal, though ultimately unsuccessful, was a monumental undertaking that left an indelible mark on history. Led by the charismatic Ferdinand de Lesseps, the French brought their engineering prowess and unwavering optimism to the jungles of Panama. They envisioned a canal that would rival the Suez Canal in grandeur and transform global trade. The French effort was marked by both triumph and tragedy. Their engineers made significant strides in excavating vast quantities of earth and rock, using the most advanced machinery available at the time. They constructed elaborate systems of dams and locks, designed to tame the Chagres River and regulate the flow of water through the canal. For a time, it seemed as if the French might actually succeed where others had failed. However, the French endeavor was plagued by a series of setbacks that ultimately proved insurmountable. The dense jungles and rugged terrain posed constant challenges, and the project was beset by landslides, floods, and outbreaks of deadly diseases. Malaria and yellow fever, spread by mosquitoes, ravaged the workforce, claiming the lives of thousands of workers. The death toll was staggering, and the construction site became known as a white man's graveyard. Despite these setbacks, the French persevered for years, pouring vast sums of money and countless man-hours into the project. However, the combination of engineering challenges, disease, and financial mismanagement proved too great to overcome. By the early 1890s, the French effort had collapsed, leaving behind a legacy of unfulfilled dreams and a tangle of rusting machinery in the jungle. Section 5. The American Era, Engineering a Miracle. The failure of the French to construct a Panama Canal did not diminish the world's desire for a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The United States, now a rising global power with interests in both oceans, recognized the strategic and economic importance of such a waterway. In 1904, after a brief but decisive conflict that led to Panama's independence from Colombia, the United States took control of the canal project. The American effort was marked by a renewed sense of purpose and a determination to learn from the mistakes of the French. Under the leadership of President Theodore Roosevelt, the United States committed significant resources and manpower to the project. They recruited some of the most talented engineers and doctors in the world, determined to overcome the challenges that had doomed the French. One of the key factors in the American success was their focus on sanitation and disease control. Led by Dr. William C. Gorgas, American medical teams implemented a rigorous program to eradicate mosquitoes and improve sanitation. They drained swamps, sprayed insecticides, and provided workers with mosquito netting and medical care. As a result, the incidence of malaria and yellow fever plummeted, saving countless lives and allowing the project to proceed with renewed vigor. The Americans also brought a new level of engineering ingenuity to the project. They abandoned the French plan for a sea-level canal in favor of a lock-and-lake design. This involved constructing a series of massive locks that would raise and lower ships through the Continental Divide, utilizing the existing Gatun Lake as a key part of the waterway. This innovative approach proved to be both more practical and less susceptible to landslides.